Okay, boys and girls, we're going to practice adding our suffixes ER and EST. So at the top of your page in the white, you are going to write at the top of the page in the white, adding ER and EST. Okay, so in the white at the top of your page, write that. Did everybody write that?
Yep.
Okay, very good. Avery, did you write that? Good. Okay. Now, we are going to have different columns, but we're not going to make our columns just yet. We're going to write the first row of words. First, we're going to have our base word. So at the top of our first line, now because you should have put it at the very top, so on our first lines that we have there, you see how you have your first lines?
Yes.
We're going to write base word. So that's going to be our base word. So we're going to write base word. So it's going to be between the two first lines. So we're going to have base word. You're going to write base word. Okay? Yeah, that's fine, base word. You want to make sure you leave room, base, no, that's too far in the middle. You have to go all the way to the left, all the way to the left. So we're going to write base word. Oops, oh, I just moved it. Okay, base word. And then we're going to write, so I'm going to have my base word. And then I'm going to write ER. I'm going to write plus ER as a matter of fact. So I'm going to leave room for me to write it. And then I'm going to have another column, and then I'm going to say meaning. We want to have room for all my columns. What is the word going to mean? Then I'm going to have plus EST. And then I'm going to have meaning. So we need to have room for 5 columns. 5 columns, boys and girls, 5 columns. Does everybody have room?
First column.
So we have 5 columns. Yes, so it should look like it should have 5 columns. So now, does everybody have their 5 columns?
Yep.
What's wrong?
What is the last one?
Meaning. We should have base word plus ER, meaning plus EST plus meaning. And then the last column is meaning, not plus meaning, but meaning. Okay? Well, you're going to have to write small. And you can write small. I know you are a small writer. Now the rest of us who are not as small are going to have to practice writing small because we can't always write big. We have to work on writing smaller now that we are in 3rd grade. 3rd graders should be able to write small. Okay, who does not have all their columns headed? Okay, finish. Finish. to do is the word sad. So let's write the word sad. First word is sad. That is our base word. Now, if we're going to add ER to sad, we have to do something special to it. It follows a different rule because this word follows, I'm hearing a noise. It is following a consonant, vowel, consonant pattern. When a word follows a consonant, vowel, consonant pattern, we have to double the final consonant before we add ER. So how am I going to spell this word when I add ER to it? Mikey?
So you're gonna double the ending consonant on sad.
And what?
So it's gonna be sadder.
Sadder.
S-A-D-D-E-R.
S-A-D-D-E-R. So let's write sadder. And sadder has a meaning. Now, when we add ER, it means we're comparing two things. So if I say, Bob is sadder than Jingles, because he didn't finish his puzzle, then that means Bob is more sad. More sad. So that's what we're going to write, more sad. More sad. Okay? So now we have plus EST. And the same rule applies for adding EST. We have consonant, vowel, consonant. You tell me. Ethan, how am I going to spell sad plus EST, and what word is that?
Saddest.
Saddest, and how do I spell saddest?
S-A-D-D-E-S-T.
Yes, S-A-D-D-E-S-T. We're going to write that. And what does saddest mean? Because how many am I comparing if I have saddest?
Me?
Yes, Ethan, you tell me.
Like you're very sad.
Yes, I know what it, but how many am I comparing? When we add ER, we're comparing two. How many are we comparing if I add EST to something? Do you remember?
3.
3 or more, right? It could be 3 or more. So what do you think saddest means? Here you're just more sad. If you're saddest, you're the
Most sad.
most sad. That's what that means, most sad. Okay. Bob is the saddest elf in school because he didn't finish his jigsaw puzzle. Okay? Okay, all eyes this way. Now let's go to our second word. Our second word is the word happy. Happy. Now how do we make the word happy plus ER? Happy plus ER is what, Yanni?
Happier.
Happier, very good. And how do we spell happier? Because this one ends in a Y, so what do we need to do?
We need to add a I and take out the Y.
We change the Y to an I and then add ER. H-A-P-P-I-E-R, happier. So when a word ends in a consonant Y or in a Y, we change the Y to an I before we add ER. And what do you think happier means? Who could tell me what happier means? Avery?
More happy.
More happy. More happy. Okay? Now we want to add EST to it. EST. Logan.
Saddest.
We're happy.
I mean, happiest.
Happiest. How do we spell happiest?
H-A-P-P-I-E-S-T.
I-E-S-T. We change the Y to an I before we add EST. And what does happiest mean? Yes.
Most happy.
Most happy. You're the most happy. Most happy. Okay. Number 3. Late.
Do we have to number them?
I am to keep, so I'm keeping track. Late. Olive. What is late plus ER?
Later.
Later, and this has a rule too. What do we have to do to this one, Olive?
So you don't add another E,
We drop the E and then you
add one in.
you add ER. So how do we spell it?
Later.
Later. So later. So we drop the E and we add ER. Later. And what does later mean, Olive?
Later means more late.
More late. More late. Very nice. How about our next one? Clark.
Later.
We have later. We want to add EST to late. So what is it?
Latest.
Latest. How do we spell latest?
Latest.
EST. We took the E out. And what does latest mean, Clark?
More late.
Most late. Very nice. Most late. Okay. Our next word is hot. Okay, Libby, can you help me with hot? And we have to add ER to it, so what does it become? Hotter. How do we spell hotter? Very nice. We had to double the final consonant because it's following the consonant vowel consonant in the base word. And what does hotter mean? More hot. More hot. Okay, now we want to add EST to our base word. Elisa, what word is that going to be? Hottest. How do we spell hottest? Very good. And what does hottest mean?
Most hot.
Most hot. Excellent. We're doing excellent, excellent. Okay, now I have the word angry. Angry. Who'd like to do angry for me? Juliana. What is it plus ER?
Angrier.
Angrier. How do we spell angrier?
Angrier.
Very good. And what does angrier mean?
More angry.
More angry. Okay. And then Thomas. What is angry plus EST?
Angriest.
Angriest. And how do we spell angriest? IEST. And what does that mean?
Most angry.
Most angry. See, we have a pattern here. If it ends in ER, it means more of something. If we add EST, it means most of something. How about, the word young? Young. Y-O-U-N-G, young. Ivy, you haven't helped us.
Young. It would be younger.
Younger. And how do we spell that?
Y-O-U-N-G-E-R.
Oh, yes, we didn't have to do anything at all to it, did we? We just added the ER to it. And so what does younger mean?
More young.
More young. Okay. Jensen, how about if we add EST to the word young? What word is that?
Youngest.
Youngest. And what does that mean? Oh, spell it for me first.
N-O-U-N-G-S-T.
And what does it mean?
Most young.
Most young. Oh, here's a good word. Brave. Brave. Who hasn't done a word yet for me? Teddy. Because brave plus ER is what?
Braver.
Braver. Spell it for me.
B-R-A-V-E-R.
And what does braver mean?
More brave.
More brave. Avery. Brave plus EST is what word?
Bravest.
And how do we spell it?
B-R-A-V-E-S-T.
And what does it mean?
More brave. Or most brave.
Most brave. And then now we're going to do one more word because I'm at the end of my board. And it is the word funny. Ethan, help me with funny plus ER is what?
Funny.
Plus ER is
Funnier.
funnier. How do we spell funnier?
F-U-N-N-Y-E-R.
Y-E-R?
No. I-E-R.
So spell it all for me.
F-U-N-N-Y-I-E-R.
Spell it again.
F-U-N-N-Y-E-R.
What do we do with words that end in Y?
Oh, I'll change it to an I.
We change it to,
F-U-N-N-I-E-R.
that's an F-U-N-N-I-E-R. And what does it mean?
Funniest.
What's it mean?
Oh, more funny.
More funny. Elisa, help us with funny plus EST. What word is that? Funniest, and how do we spell funniest?
F-U-N-N-I-E-S-T.
Very good. And what does funniest mean?
Most funny.
Most funny. Very good. Good job, boys and girls. I hope this helps us try to keep those rules straight because we had an example of all the rules. We had don't make any noise. Don't be doing anything. We had our rule about consonant, vowel, consonant, and doubling. Which words were examples of doing that? Who can tell me? Which words were examples of doubling the final consonants? Libby.
Sad.
Sad. We have to do that with sadder. What else?
Hot.
Hot. So we have to do that with those. And then which words did we have to change the Y to an I? Which were our Y to an I words?
Oh.
Thomas?
Happier.
Happier. What else? Angrier.
And the last one, funnier.
Funnier. Those were our examples. And then we had some words that we had to drop the final E before we added our suffixes. What words were those? Juliana?
Brave.
Brave
And late.
and later. So those were those words. Very nice. Very nice. So we have to try to remember those. Good job, boys and girls. Good job. That was fun.